Hello, this is Vera. I am here at the fortress. I call it the fortress in Chan. It's in northern Peru, near the town of Trujillo. So it's very interesting, and let's explore. Here I am come at the wall over here, and these are engraving of fishes. Very interesting. And I have to remind you, everything what you see over here is a replica. It's not the original. But it's very interesting. That gives us an idea what this place was about. These fishes is very interesting. Really interesting. Here is the fishes again. And on the bottom over here, it looks like ducks, but I think this more looks like a condor, because a condor is very popular in South America as well as in Northern Americas. The Hopi Indian talks very much about the condor or the phoenix. So yeah, I give you an idea of this length of this wall with fishes and the condor. Very interesting. I believe the condor has something to do with the phoenix. Here this looks like more like a throne, could be. I'm not sure, but it looks like a throne. And over here, this engraving looks very much to me personally, it looks has an African flair to it. Very much an African flair. Incredible. And I have to say, we're gonna go further, so we can go. I believe this place has African flair, reminds me of the city of Timbuktu. And also when I was in Lima last year, I went to see some of the ruins, and they looked very much African as well. And mind you saying this, the city of Lima, if you change the letters, you have Mali. So could it be possible that maybe it has something to do with Mali, because we know the Mali is connected with the Dogon tribe, and the Dogon tribe knew about the constellation of the Dog Star, and they had different. There's one, I think, I forgot, is A, B, and C. The Dog Star A, B, and C, and the B could not be seen, was invisible. I have company over here. Hold on a sec. Let's go further here. Go here. You can see here, it seemed to be like there was like the quarters maybe, or something with a gathering place. It looks very much African. And over here, down here, you see those waves. You can see those all in Greece. It kind of reminds me, see, they're close by, they have like the 3 steps, 1, 2, and 3, and then it goes around. So I don't know what it means. Sometimes I feel like it has to do with waves maybe, or maybe something different, but it has the steps. I never seen this. I only seen this in Greece, like looks like a wave, but you see here is like a step, and then these engraving is very fascinating. Here is like a corridor, very interesting, and very interesting. And here you can see like fishes And then in the middle there is a cross. So it's a fishes, basically it's fishes. So it has to do with the sun and the fishes. Fishes is a constellation Pisces. So they say it was built like in 900 BC, but I think this place is much older. It probably goes back to 2000 BC or maybe older. Again, we have somehow like way over there, let me see, the condor, I believe it's the condor. And you have there like again like seats, like someone was sitting there, or there was a gathering place, like there was gathering here. Yeah. Like you can see again the fishes. Incredible, these fishes. I know that it's not its replica, but the cross represents the sun, and we have the fishes. So it has something to do with the constellation, in which constellation the sun was. That's basically what I believe it is. Here you can see how high those walls are, how it was made. So it come to mind over here, it looks like a labyrinth. And because I get that's why they have the fishes over here, that you do not get lost, because it's very easy to get lost. So they have those fishes for direction. So that kind of, reminds me of a labyrinth. And now the labyrinth, we only know the story above the labyrinth of the Minotaur. And the Minotaur represents Taurus, the bull. And we know that the Pleiadian are situated in the constellation Taurus. So it's very interesting that we have actually maybe the two things of constellation Taurus, or the real labyrinth of Knossos. Because I know that Knossos is famous for the labyrinth, but I never seen a labyrinth over there. We know that Solon went to Egypt and he talked to a priest called Solon. And Solon told him a story about Atlantis. But when Solon went back, he only said part of the story, or some of the stories he kept for his own country, so that the story that we find in Greece was maybe somewhere else. Very interesting. And we also have the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was sold by his 12 brothers, consolation again, I don't know how true that is, was sold and to Egypt, and he was a producer of corn. And in some Bible they leave the name corn out of it, and they replace it with grain. My research was that the biggest producer of corn, that is like a stadium, kind of reminds me of the one I've seen in Chichen Itza, but it has like in Chichen Itza was like a ball game, stadium for ball games, and it was connected with a human sacrifice, with human sacrifice. And I will point out that later why it came about. But again, back to the story of Joseph, and they left the name corn out of it and replaced it with grains. Of course, grains, they say that Egypt was the one that produces the most grain because of the Nile, but I have the feeling that was not really the true story. The really grain was corn, and if you Google it, you will find out Mexico was the biggest producer of corn. So, and there is this one story that just came out now that probably the biblical Joseph probably was Imhotep, and Imhotep is famous for the step pyramid that is in Egypt. See, again, we see some kind of seeds over there. Very interesting, very interesting. See them back there. We're going to go on top of there later on. Yeah. So back up, to the story of Joseph. So they think that the biblical Joseph was Imhotep. And we know that Imhotep was the architect of the pyramid of Joseph, Jotham. It was a pharaoh. I'm not sure how soon this story is. But we found many steps pyramid here in Central America and in South America. So, yeah. So that could be something in connection with. And let me see, we go through here. And we're going to go to the tower. Yeah, where we have to find. I think we're going to go there. Say over here, I went right here. Anyway, so the story of Joseph. Oh, now we cannot go over there, that doesn't go anywhere. The story of Joseph. So if it was Imhotep and it's one of the same, it would be very, very possible. And also we know that so some of them there was a god Thoth. Thoth was also called by the Romans Hermes, and Trujillo called him Ninigita. He was the youngest son of Enki. His eldest son was Marduk, and it sounds like they had a disagreement. Yeah, so yeah, it's very windy right now. Yeah, here we again. We're gonna go see that later on. I think we've been there earlier. So you see the walls over here. Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. So we're gonna go there. So he had a son, a younger son, and there was a disagreement, and he ended up in the Americas. His name was Thoth, and he left to Egypt. He left Egypt, and with a gang of African. And you know that when you go to Mexico, especially the museum in Mexico City, you see these big heads that looks very African. So I believe there was a story to it. And they also call it over here something with emerald, and Billy Carson wrote the Emerald Tablet. Some people say that is a controversial, that is a fabrication. I don't want to say that he was everything right with about everything, but I think there was something to it. And here they call emerald, and there was the Emerald King. It's emerald tablet, the emerald, which is made as a jewelry that was worn by, especially by Native Americans. So here again, here the walls, beautiful. And we're gonna go up there, the stairs up there. Yeah, so, and I believe there is a connection with Joseph, Imhotep, and the god Thoth. And that some of his peoples came out of Africa. That's why I think there's an African connection here. And I went to don't forget one of my video I made, I believe 2 years ago, at the museum, the Metropolitan Museum, in New York City. I made a video about a figurine that looks very African, and and I believe that could be one of the one who maybe went to the Americas. Here I am on top of this tower, and from the very back you can see the ocean right there, very close to the ocean. And there's a highway up there too, a highway that when you come from the airport you will drive to Trujillo, and very interesting. And on the bottom over here, let me see if I can see, it looks like, I don't know what it is. It's like cubed, like over there. It looks like, to me, it looks like over there, it's like these rooms. They're very small rooms beside each other. It looks like, to me, it looks like barracks. You know, where soldiers sleep. They have their little, their little rooms there, bed, and then they have this big space there, maybe for formation, to get out, during the morning time formation. It looks like, to me, it looks like this was barracks. From the top over there, when you look at it, it looks like barracks. And this big space there, it looks like for formation when they come out in the morning time. And then the walls around there, it looks like a fortress. And everything is made like a maze. You get lost very easily. So over there, they're working on something else over there. So that hasn't been done here. I don't want to say everything is correct. I mean, it gives you an idea what it is. And I think of course, it's not the real thing, but we have to sometimes, get with it, and understand if they would not done that, we would have no idea what these things are. Like here again, it's like there was rooms and they just dig it out of the sand. Yeah, it's definitely, to me, it looks like a fortress and it looks like a maze. There is a story in the Marataraba called Arjuna, who had a son, and he died in a labyrinth. He could not come out the labyrinth and he died. So that is, I don't want to say that, it's just, come to my mind. It's like something to think about it. And when you're there, if I go a little bit further, if I get it, there is a from far away, you probably cannot see it. From far away, it's like a volcano that erupted. It's getting very windy here, very windy. Here you can see that the walls went way over there. Some more to see, but it's not allowed to the public because it has to be done. I think they do a great job, really great job, to kind of give an idea of what this place was. This place called Shenzhen, yes. And over there, we're gonna go over there later on, very important place over there. Shout out for the one who just work over here. They do a great job, even though it's a replica. But way over there, you see, way over there, it goes way over there. It's among us. It's like, can you imagine how much it's going to be in 10 or 20 years ago? I'm not going to be around, but for the people that come in 20, in the next 10 or 20 years, my God, there would be so much more information. So here I go, and this is why I call it a labyrinth, because it's like a labyrinth. To find this place, it's very hard. Without the fishes, you will never find the place. See, this is again the vases that I was seeing in the Museum of Heraklion. So why is there a vase? It has a connection. There was merchant. There was going back and forth. Merchants. Yes. This is an older story about this place here and Heraklion and the Temple of Knossos. And Temple of Knossos is a replica of this, but the vase kind of gives the story away. Okay, here we in this enclosing, and seem to be like there used to be like maybe officials. They had their say. Was maybe like a gathering place where everybody has the things to say. Maybe the one there was above the soldiers, so they have to say there was doing laws, coming up with problems, solving problems. I don't see nobody in there, but I see over here it's a figurine over here, and I see this all over the Americas, especially in Bolivia. I see them in Mexico, like Tello, where they have this big, huge stone figurine made of, they look like warriors, and they have platform shoes that you would find that maybe some kind of astronaut would wear, with shoes, like when you look at some of those films they are shot during the moon landing, or as an astronaut they had these platform shoes on. And if you look, you may see, you look the one who holds the hand, you see that he has a glove, he holds a glove. It's not his real hand, and it looks like very much like what an astronaut would wear, because when you look at the moon landing they all have these really heavy gloves or things on, and he has a stick, kind of looking like he has some kind of authority, and the face, like his white face, that maybe will tell that he was had a mask on, and maybe the white maybe represent that he was who knows, maybe he was from he was Caucasian. I don't know, because we know that a guy in Thoth, Hermes was Caucasian. He was white, and he had, I believe, blonde hair, but he came with Africans over here. So we not want to do something, all white, black, there was all one. So there was no prejudice. And then his cap, it has, see his cap, he has horns that represents the bull, constellation Taurus, also the Pleiadian. So maybe Billy Carson, in his book, The Emerald Tablet, maybe there was something true that he was in, that he said. Of course, he was attacked by certain things, that he was a charlatan. But maybe something, of course, was not exactly correct, but I think there was something to it. And there are two of them. Hold on. It's again a second one. So there is like two of them. So I'm not sure what two represent, but since this person was in there must have been more in those. And there was a congregation here held in this enclosure. Let me see. I saw it again. To discuss certain matter that need to be solved. And remind you again, this is all a replica. It's not, it's something that they did as the best as their knowledge. So it's not something that they found it that way. They went after this thing. So it's not to do things, but it gives you an idea. There basically was a fortress here. There was a labyrinth here. I believe that. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever belief that that's my intuition. And there is something. And of course, my investigation going to go further to find out the true story of humankind. This is the end of Chen Chen, and also Chen Chen. They call this Shimu. The Shimu civilization was here before the Inca. Shimu also represent the land of Kem, Kemu or Kemu, or how they call it, because the CH can also be as K. So it could be, has something to do with the land of Kem, which was Egypt, the dark land, the black land, and also it's chemistry. That's come also from the name chemistry, Kemet, chemistry, Kemu, Shimu. That's, I believe it is. And this is the end of Chen Chen. Thank you for watching for my video. Sorry, I'm just an amateur. I do many mistakes, so bear with me. And thank you for watching, and you have a nice day.